So, here we are again, my fellow Earthlings. I just finished the painting and I want to show it to you. It's just a small piece that I actually started on when I was inside, as they say. And I used, the first thing I did was I did a sketch, the first sketch with water-based oil paint, and then I finished it with ordinary oil paint, and I think it came out quite nice, to be honest. I worked a lot with these clouds and textures and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that it was possible to work on top water-based oil paint, and it was actually possible to get this. This is just a short video. I didn't make it so long. It's also from basically finished sketch to this point here. So if you want to look at it, please check it out. Also, there is a link to Patreon on my YouTube channel, so please go there, and if you want me to teach you how to paint, or you just want to support my work, you can go there and support me with whatever sum you would like, and I would love to see you there. Also, thumbs up, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends. Okay. Hello, it's me again. I'm gonna finish actually a small painting, and I'm gonna show what it is. I actually painted this with some different colors. I used water-based Winsor Newton paint. I didn't have my oil paint when I did it, and I couldn't really finish it because I couldn't glaze. But now I'm gonna finish it, and I'm gonna paint over it with ordinary oil paint, and I'm looking forward to see what happens. I think it's gonna be okay. You can actually paint over these paints with ordinary oil. You can't do it the other way, of course, because it's water-based. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and see what happens. So that's gonna be interesting. Anyway, remember, thumbs up, leave a comment, and also check out my Patreon if you wanna support me or have me teach you a little bit about painting. You can also chat with me once a month on webcam, paint together or something, if you go in there and choose the right tier. Yeah. Okay. Hope to see you there or in. So, the first thing I'm going to do is take my Retouching Varnish and just because it's quite there's no shine in this because of course it was water-based, so there's no oil. I don't really know what oil, how they make this color, but it was actually quite nice to work with. It feels kind of like ordinary oil paint, and if you're allergic or you can't stand the smell of turp and oil, it would be a good alternative. For sketching, that's just fine, because you can actually use it to sketch, and only use the more actually the color is quite expensive, so there's no difference really, but if you want to avoid too much oil, I think it can actually be quite a good alternative. Now I'm going to do this. I have now, of course, given it the Retouching Varnish. Then I will glaze over it, and I will just start working. I think I'm gonna just mold it. just gonna. What I need to do here is, it's not that much I need to do, because it's a nice, kind of came to this almost finished. I just need to go into some details and enhance stuff and push things down. So it's gonna be a few hours of work, but yeah, I hope to finish it in 2 or 3 days or something like that. So yeah. Okie dokie dokie. See you in the next segment. Now, as you know, glazing for me means alizarin or klaplak if you prefer that, and it's French ultramarine, which I kind of just dissolve in my medium, which is it has 70% turpentine, as in Norway, and then a few percent, and the rest 30% is cooked linseed oil or some linseed oil based medium, which I buy in the store, which is basically linseed oil with something that makes it dry a little bit faster, I've heard. I also use only linseed oil, but it has to be cooked or it will not dry. I did once painting with raw oil, and that basically never really dried. And I don't know why. Maybe that's, I don't know. I don't really know the difference actually. Maybe I should Google it. You can Google it. I haven't Googled it yet, and I did it 30 years ago. So, no, 25 years ago or something. So maybe I should have actually Googled it to know, since I'm talking about it now. But anyway, cooked linseed oil and turp, and I just make a wash, as you can see, to make some paint or some oil get into the can. Now, this is not a canvas actually. This is a more like a plate, painting plate. Now the story is that I, as some of you may have seen, I was in prison for a while because of my stupid gun collection. I'm not a criminal, not in the right sense of the word, it was just a hobby. So I painted actually this in prison with. That is why it was water-based oil paint. I even had problems getting that in because they have very strict rules. But I got it in, and I did some paintings and a lot of drawing actually, and writing. So it wasn't so bad. It was actually a good time in a way. So that is why it's made with water-based oil paint, and now I can actually finish it, and that's going to be quite fun. I think it's going to be nice to kind of clear it up and see what happens. So now I'm just gonna, what I do after I put on the glaze, well, we've seen this 100 times before on my channel, but I just scrape it a little bit. Take away some excess oil that I just take away. But it looks like it's actually stuck right into the paint here quite well. Also, when I used Retouching Varnish before I do this, the Retouching Varnish actually sucks it in and kind of binds it. If not, it would be a problem because it becomes too slippery. So before you glaze, use the Retouching Varnish because it kind of makes the paint you put on top of it stick. I think that is quite important. Okay, yay. start painting in the next. I can start painting. Painting in. So here we are, and now you're gonna see me do something for the first time. I've never done this before, and I'm gonna start with a. I always like to start with, I like to start with the small stuff. Like I need the starting point, which here can be the light in the cloud, and I can see that there's more a little bit of green in it, so I'm just going to go in here. I also made a drawing of this. Also actually doing a huge painting that is of the same motif, which I started here in my studio a few years ago, but I never finished it because I had so many things going, both in my life and everything, so everything was postponed in a way. But I also did a lot of other stuff. But you see now I can just, now the paint underneath here, which I glazed, now kind of gets pulled into the new color that I put on. So that way I get also the medium and free on the canvas. It's already there, the oil, and it kind of makes it easier for me to everything, to make it dry, to kind of build further. I remember this evening actually, it was me and my daughter. We were in Magaluf, Mallorca, and it was a nice evening. We were walking on the beach, and I took this photo. She was 15 then, 15, close to 16. 15 and a half, I think she was. And now she's 27, becoming 28 at Christmas, actually the 24th, Christmas Eve, Christmas morning. Yeah, and there was this beautiful cloud there, as you can see. It's far in the back, but so I just called this painting the cloud, or Villa Victoria. No, I actually prefer to call it just a cloud. Also, there was a lot of stuff happening in her life from she was like 15 until now, and there was a cloud hanging there that kind of manifested itself, but then everything turned good again. So she's a very conscientious, is that the right word? It's a very smart girl. My daughter is a very smart girl, and she's doing well. She is actually designing clothes, and she has taken over a store and a workplace for creating clothes in Bergen, Norway. She doesn't live in Oslo, sadly, in a way, because we don't see each other as often as we should, but enough. We talk on the phone and stuff like that, so we meet like a few times a year. But when they grow, it's quite far, so and she has a lot to do. But anyway, now you can see I'm just lifting up the cloud here, and getting that to, because that is basically the main object in this painting is of course her, but it also the cloud, and that is, I guess, is for people would be very easy to see, I hope. So it's going to be quite difficult with the small details here, but then I will push the photo underneath here, and so I'll get this one closer, and I will just adjust and keep on working with it. So yeah. So that is what I will do. I don't want this video to be hours long, but now you can see it's kind of slippery here, a little bit, but the colors, and also you see I'm using the background to kind of build the foreground, and then I will even out these things, and also underneath here there's a lot of stuff happening, so it's kind of underneath here, and you have clouds under there, you know, there's so many things happening, and you have to kind of follow the rules of nature when you do this. You can't just, clouds has this, clouds are like snowflakes, okay? They kind of look the same, but they're never the same. You can never find two clouds. You would need universes of time to get exactly the same cloud twice. It's basically like fingerprints or snowflakes or anything else in nature. They are underneath the laws of nature, and chaos creates the same shapes all the time, the same structure, but never the same. But there is some kind of structure to it, and that is the mathematics, underlying mathematics of nature. You can say, was there mathematics before humans put a name on it? Yeah, I would say so. It's like, does the moon exist even if we don't look at it? Yes. And we define it as a moon, as we have defined the mathematics in rules with letters. I mean, if our letters were totally different, say there is a intelligent civilization on a different planet, they will actually, if they start evolving and creating science, they will actually see exactly the same rules. But they will do it with different letters. They will have, their equations will tell the same story, but they will be different. It's like if we had a civilization here on Earth that had never heard about MC, you know, the MCE, EMC, yeah, to Einstein, they would have found the same mathematics, but they would have described it in hieroglyphs or something. Then you can have a discussion about, okay, would it even be possible to calculate quantum physics, or calculate these equations without a number system, the 1 to 10. So then again, maybe you need exactly that kind of system to describe it, that number system, and therefore the equations in the end will probably look a little bit the same, because yeah, so I don't know, maybe I should talk to a scientist about this. Now it's me ranting about the laws of nature, but the point is, if you paint something just blobs, you know, oh, this is cloud, and you paint the cliche, to paint the cliche cloud, then it won't look right. There was something, it's not, I see it's a cloud, it's supposed to be a cloud, but it doesn't really look like cloud, okay? it looks like somebody have tried to paint the cloud, but it doesn't look right. So it's very important to kind of understand the structure of clouds, so you don't paint them basically as the cliche or the symbol. You have to avoid the symbols and try to understand how clouds work. It's like, how do they fall into the background? Why is it like this? Why? How does air work? How does air, in a way, work? Yeah. So that's, well, yeah. So now I know I kind of have to make the clouds look organic. They have to be organic. They can't just be blobs or something ugly. So, you know. Yeah. Breathe here is actually more reddish. I want to bring in my blue and crab black, and there's also a difficult okay. I have to create this luft, this air perspective, Luftperspektive as I call it. Yeah. Well, I'm going to turn off now and I'm going to paint for a while, then I'm going to zoom in when I paint, so you can actually see how I do it in different segments. Okay, here we are. I've been working a little bit around here. A little bit more than a little bit, but I'm still stuck at the sky. I need to keep it down at the same time as I want to get all these clouds in and stuff. It's a very nice sticky feel to it now. I need more paint. I use a lot of French ultramarine. So and it kind of keeps it darker. That's a good thing. Take it down a little bit here. Sometimes when I paint, there becomes a little bit shine in it. The problem here is my studio actually, because it's 3 point something meters to the roof, but it's kind of not enough to get more spread, the light more spread. So yeah. I can see that the groundwork was actually done here. It's quite easy for me to kind of get into it and stuff. Getting a little bit tired, so might need to get some sleep soon. Maybe I should just pour in some more coffee and keep up the good work, as they say. I need to keep this quite fluid, and I don't want it to dry altogether before I have, because when you paint, it can be a good thing not to let it dry, so you can actually paint more wet in wet. Can actually be a very good thing. I have been kind of a little bit distracted lately because I came out of that prison situation and I got myself a new girlfriend, and the old one kind of started watching all my stories on Instagram and stuff, and things that kind of makes you distracted. Having a girl in my life is actually a nice thing. She's a nice one. But it kind of takes, in the beginning at least, you have to find a way. You know, it's not easy to be, if you're a painter, it's not that easy to find the right balance between too much and too little. It's not her fault in any way, she's a sweetheart. It's just me. But can be other things too, you know. It's like not necessarily what I think it is. I'm just kind of adjusting to a new situation. Anyway, back to painting. Here there's a lot of cobalt blue. Actually, the camera tend to make it more blue than in reality. Or maybe it's my eyes that basically can't see how blue I actually paint. But anyway. Yeah. So much to say. You work with the sky here. And you just have to balance all the different blue colors and all the things that are going to be deeper to create that feeling of natural light. I really do like to paint on wood because I don't have to. I always thought it was the opposite, but if I could paint on huge wooden plates, I think I would prefer that. It's also easier to, when you have a canvas, it tends to, if it's cold, they tend to become more wobbly, sloppy. And if you So the last video ended a little bit abruptly, was because there wasn't any more space in the card. That's a drag. But here we are back to explain how to paint and how to live life like a guru. I'm trying to be a guru. And here I'm just gonna be very careful. That's also something you learn as you become a better painter, to keep things down. And that's might be one of the most difficult things in the beginning, because the tendency of the human being to exaggerate every shape when it comes to creative work is very, very present and difficult to handle, actually, because you don't really see. What you see is not really what you see, and it's hard to understand it, get a grip on it. As I said twice now. Just gonna do some more on the clouds. I'm just gonna work myself more down here now. So maybe gonna zoom a little bit so you can see more what I'm doing. Okay, I don't know, something about the card speed. Anyway, I'm gonna zoom more in now, like this, so you can actually see better what I'm doing. Then in the next segment I'm gonna go even closer. I'm gonna keep on getting closer and closer into more detail. And then I'm gonna zoom back out again as I basically finish it. What I want to do is kind of clean up. I'm quite nervous to go into the body, actually, because it's the most difficult thing, and that I will do more up close. That is the thing that will take the most of the time. So yeah, so that's how it is. I just have to live with that problem. So, and here, I just want to clean it up. Because there's a lot of green, you know, it's reddish, and it's the clouds are quite orange and stuff. So underneath in the shadows here, in the deeper layer or the deeper colors, there is green. And if you see now, I actually use brush blue for the green, and I mix it with French ultramarine. I have some reddish in it. No black, actually, because I think that will kind of ruin it. Then I just keep on. Now I add into the same color, I add in more Kraplak or Alzarin, and I go underneath the cloud here, because there's sky behind the cloud, so I get more depth behind it. See that I have to go deeper, and then I go to ultramarine, and I mix in some of the ultramarine, and then it gets deeper again. And that is the way I do it. Now then I see, oh, it's a little bit too much, and then I kind of pull it back up again with adding some more French ultramarine. No, sorry, Prussian blue. So that is how I do it. And there's actually some quite reddish and deeper color in the cloud there, which will is it called underscore, or explain why there is why, or explain the different color choices. Actually, there's not a color choice, it's actually nature who does the choice here. Nature is, as far as I know, not conscious. Of course, there are people who believe in that too, that believe that basically the gods are in everything, or God. I don't believe in stuff like that. I just see it as the way it is, and it's basically chemistry that determine the colors, the amount of elements and stuff like that. You know. Water vapor, oxygen hits light, meets light, and you get something very, very beautiful. Strange to think about that simple matter creates so much beauty, and the beauty can only be observed or seen by the conscious mind. So for billions of years there were living creatures that had no idea what even beauty meant. They had no aesthetic sense. And then we come along and become conscious, and we become the brain of the universe. And then we made porn and war. And we started abusing our children. And we started destroying each other for petty gains that has no implications for a good life. It is so sad, actually, that something so beautiful as consciousness can be so incredibly destructive. I just listened to some documentaries about the female guards of camps in the Second World War, and there you have it. A woman who should become mothers became simply demons, psychopathic demons, when they got the power over other people. They literally enjoyed destroying other human beings. And there was one, and I really reacted to that, to see how the most of them was actually hanged. And that's a good thing, you know. But there was this one nurse, or doctor, female, who was working with the same stuff as Mengele was. Experiment on human beings. And she got 20 years in prison after the war. 20 years. And she got out after 10 for good behavior. Now, you have killed thousands, experimented on them, sent people to the gas chambers, and you get 20 years in prison, and you get out after 10 for good behavior. Now, most of them was hanged. The guards and stuff like that. But why? How can it be that this woman got away so easily? It's just absurd. And that tells a lot about the justice system that can fail so miserably. It's like the Norwegian killer Anders Behring Breivik. who killed, was it 78 people in Norway, and he gets 21 years. It's the biggest discount for murder since the Second World War. And he probably get out in not too far future because of, as they say, good behavior. They can't keep him forever. And people in Norway actually believes that they can keep him forever. But he can't. Anyway, that was a derailment or digression, as they say. Let me see how I'm working. Now the line behind here is actually clearer. Yeah, I went from it's funny, I always do that. I go from talking about nature to consciousness to, human atrocity. And that is me in a nutshell. It's very hard for me to stick with the topic of painting because I think so much when I paint. And when I talk, it's almost like I talk as I think. And some people actually enjoy my rants, so that's good. But it's not that my channel is so incredibly popular. That was irony. Yeah, by the way, my YouTube channel is not monetized right now. So if you can help me with giving a thumbs up and just put my videos on and let them roll, even if you're not looking, it would be, or watching, it would be very good for the algorithm. It's also very good for people to give a thumbs up, stuff like that, because I need 1 million views on shorts. And a year ago I didn't even know what shorts were, and then I invent something new and it created a huge problem for creators. How can they actually earn money on destroying people's capability of earning money on YouTube? They have to upload these videos to somewhere. They are not streamed from my computer. And that must cost a lot of money. And then they ruin people's capability to earn by inventing new rules. It's not a good business model, I think. But who do I, Yeah. It's more greenish over here. I actually love using Prussian blue because Prussian blue goes towards the greenish spectre of the paints, while French ultramarine kind of leans over to the reddish or violet, while the cobalt is more blue, just maybe a little bit against the reddish also, but blue. That means that I can basically create a sky with all these complementary colors and keep them down while mixing them together at the same time. Yeah. Now it starts to become a little bit more sharper, but I need to keep it open. I need to keep it. I don't. The lines mustn't be too hard. They have to be subtle, and yeah. There's not, most of the texture is here, and it will be here, and the rest will be a little bit in the water behind there. But all in all, I will try to keep it down as good as I can to get that kind of luft. We call it air or luft perspective. Air perspective. It's too hard. Loosen up. It is quite hard, actually. Behind there. Maybe use a little bit black there to kind of tone it down. I use ivory black and I use the blue black from Winsor & Newton. I think the blue black is actually quite nice, especially since I'm using quite a lot of blue in my paintings, especially this one, because this one is actually quite blue. Now I see that I kind of, the blue I used here wasn't that nice. Maybe I have to use some cobalt and some French ultramarine to get it clean again. Clean it up, opening up, and then tone it down after the fact. Because it's right here. There's more light, so I need to go to the clock black and the French ultramarine to get this shine. The sea. The shine actually comes from the sky and the clouds, and it's more like here and here. Then I will tone it down and work on top of that again. Can we get this horizon going? down. Maybe I should try a different trick here. I go down like this. Like this. And then I drag here to create that difference. Just focus it, the light even more, and it will be like here. There's many ways to do it, and like this. Then I will go back and forth and back and forth. This is where things starts to become time consuming, because you have to build something that feels natural, and also keep it down at the same time. There's many different facets to, or different levels you have to be conscious when you do something like that. Yeah. That was better. Actually, there's some cobalt all the way in there. Now it gets a little bit more blue. And it gets close to her. I have to fix the horizon. The horizon has to be exact. Okay, anyway, I'll keep on painting and get back to you. Okay, here we are. I've been working for a while, as you can see, and as I promised, I will zoom a little bit more in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to now work a little bit more with the body, and so like this, and surroundings in the body as usual. This motherfucker won't see now. Jesus. Everything's going to be so hard. Why? So, okay. Close enough, I think. So I'm just going to make a short video. Now there's a lot of shine in the sea and stuff around here. That is also things I have to deal with. But the most difficult thing, which I'm not looking forward to, is this small face. And I have to be a total surgeon to be able to get that right. I might even have to buy some smaller bristles or smaller brushes to... But then again, you don't always have to go into so much detail. But to get this right, it's gonna be tough as a nub. I did actually put in some color here, and I'm going to do some more with a light in the arm and stuff here, but it's going to just adjust some of the dress, and yeah. Takes nothing to destroy, actually. Put in a little bit too much light or white, and it loses its potency. That is always a problem, because more white doesn't necessarily mean more light. So, yeah. Careful now, as to say. Careful. Be careful. Just need some more color. Some Prussian blue. This is a very blue painting. I'm looking forward to do the big version of this, because it's gonna give me more to work with, more textures and more overpaints and everything. So yeah. See, there's a shadow from the arm there. That's quite nice. It's not on a dress like this. And yeah, the folds in the dress. Shadows here. Shadow in the arm here. That's where I put in a tiny bit of black, blue black, to kind of tone it a little bit more down. So it actually is a little bit different in the color than things around it. Maybe I should actually go even closer when I do this, but I'm going to do that in the next segment. I'm going to go way closer. And yeah. Like this. I bought her that dress for this occasion, actually, to take the photos. Remember that so clearly. Strange how time passes and kids grow up and suddenly you're getting old. Older, anyway. You get more peaceful. Really. Here, like this. I'm glad I have a daughter and not a son, actually. Because my kind of protection personality kind of kicks in more, maybe. I don't know, maybe would be having fun to have a son too and teach him how to box and teach him how to stand up to himself. And I thought actually her that, and she's very good to stand up to herself and don't take any bullshit. So one should be able to take criticism, but one shouldn't take unwarranted criticism. Like this guy the other day who wrote to me on my YouTube channel, and he was telling me how crappy my paintings were and stuff, and you say, yeah, as I told him, some people like it and some people don't, you know. If you I have nothing against bad comments, I have nothing against them. Strange, this, what kind of shocks me a little bit sometimes with people is the vitriol, the need to be mean, you know. You can say, if you didn't like what I did and thought, what was it said? They said it was like an American how-to book, you know, for painting. Something like that. Anyway, it meant it was kind of amateurish and probably superficial or something like that. And hell, maybe he's onto something, I don't know. Hard to know. It's very hard to know how good oneself is. I know there's many modern painters which is way better than me. And my objective standard to measure anything against is actually the classics like Rembrandt and stuff like that. And compare myself to that, I'm fucked, you know, I'm just dead in the water. So, yeah. That is why if you're going to be doing painting, you should just have some objective standard like the classics or something if you do classic art, and you're just going to try to do your best. You don't need to compete with anyone else but yourself, but it's very important to actually compete with oneself, that you don't become complacent and actually believe that you're such a good painter or something. Because it's not helpful. You have to be extremely critical. But then you have the covert narcissist again, who is faking humility. And that is quite funny actually, because there are people who are faking humility, and if you then send back to them what they tell you, they get really pissed, you know. I remember a girl actually who worked in the gallery I use. She was a painter, and it was something she said about her own painting, and I just pointed out something to her. Yeah, there was actually a discussion about skin tone, what skin tone I used, how I met, and I told her, as I said to other people too, there is not really a certain type of paint you use, or certain recipe for skin tone. You just look at the object and you try to paint what you see. And she got so angry, and we had the discussion. She wouldn't accept my answer. And she's starting to say, people are telling me that I'm much better painter than you, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, wow. So, if she was such a good painter, why didn't she just figure it out for herself? But no. And there you have the covert narcissist. And there's a lot of them among artists, because a lot of artist types has been abused in childhood, they've been bullied, and they go into art to find themselves. And what they find is environments of basically narcissistic sociopaths who have a very, very high need for attention. And what they ends up with is you have a choice. You can rather become like them or stand on your own feet. And if you have been abused as a child or whatever, and you have developed narcissistic traits, you won't tolerate any criticism. First of all, you will try to be politically correct in the art scene, like follow everything, like with an open mind, as I say. But there's you shouldn't be so open-minded, as was said, that your head falls off. Because if you accept everything to be open-minded, in the end you actually become close-minded, because you can't really criticize anything. And that's a problem. I actually saw that in art school. I didn't really understand what was happening around me, but I did understand intuitively that I should stay away from trying to be part of a group or try to hook myself up to a certain art theory or whatever. I should just do my own thing. I didn't know why, but I think I did the right thing. I did the right choice because I felt there was so much bullshit, so many pretentious pricks, actually, both female and male. And actually one girl that was very nice in art school, she became some kind of a cultural, got some power after a while in the art scene, and she has changed into a very hard modernist with it was almost like the light in her eyes just went out, and she just changed her personality into this art monster, which you can see that there's nothing in there. She was so sweet, so open and sweet, but she changed it into this thing, and that is so sad. Because she probably had things in her childhood. I remember her. She's a very nice girl. I had so many nice conversations with her. And now, these days, she doesn't even want to look my way because I'm not politically correct in the art scene. That is so sad. Because she sees that I see it, because we were talking about these things. There was also a girl I had as a model, which I helped get into theater school, and she also turned into this very narcissistic, and also an ex-girlfriend of mine did that. changed her personalities, and she even changed her dialect to fit in. And it's just ridiculous what people do. Now I think my girlfriend is actually coming. So I'm going to stop and do more videotaping later. Okay. See you around. So here we are. I've been doing much more work here, and I actually do think it's starting to turn out quite well. I do have some small things to do. So a lot of legs and the dress and different small things that I have to fix. I think it's going to be manageable. So there is always something to do better in a painting. It's very tiny also, so it doesn't make it any more easy. Makes it, of course, quite harder because it's so tiny that it's basically not possible to see all the details. But and the clue is to just get a good impression of the mood. Also, the picture or the thing I'm using to make it is quite, shall we say, it's quite yellow or red. So there's not many colors to use to get it right. No, that wasn't what I was thinking about. There's not much. Basically, it's the same color all over with some French ultramarine and kraplak in between. Like here, I'm gonna first tone it down now, and then I'm gonna put in the tattoos. Hopefully, it's gonna be okay. So it's always difficult to tone things down. Actually, it's not that easy because the brain many times are tricking itself into believing that things are brighter than they are, and they're not. So just have to find a way. Just gonna tone it all the way down. I'm gonna bring it back up again, like I did with the background and the landscape. So There's a lot of light down here though, and behind here, because the sun is kind of hitting those points there. Same with the hand, and behind the leg here, so you see kind of what's behind there. The other leg, of course. I'll also tone this a little bit down, because this one is kind of not that, shall we say, clear. I just want to also make a little bit more the dress down here, so it kind of comes down like this, and then I bring it back up, this, and back and forth. This. Now I'm going to do a couple of more layers on this before it's done, so then it will be more, let it dry a little bit and then add more colors. So here. Yeah, well, the dress, it comes light in from the side, so that is what I'm trying to explain here in paints. And also has to kind of just slide into, you see, also use the back of the pencil like this to scrape a little bit. Let them glide a little bit into each other. Rough it up. This. Of course, the sun comes in from the side. You can see that in the cloud, of course. It's probably one of the best measures of it. Adding a little bit more yellow. A little bit more warmer color. Becomes a little bit more like the sun hits it. That kind of, yeah. Okay, you see just gonna roughly kind of write in some. She has these, I think it's a, actually what she tattooed on here was a quote by Christopher Hitchens, I think it was. Don't remember wrongly. Yeah, she takes it a little bit after her father and her atheism, and that's good. I mean, I managed to teach her some reasoning. Say I'm praying for you, man. Well, pray to Odin then. Anyway, let's be about painting. See, it's just a lot of, I have to fill in, and then I have to fill in with more scripture or letters. I can't even see the letters, so I have no idea, but I just need to have an impression. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, basically almost 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, roughly 8, give it 8. So it's just going to be an impression anyway. There is something there, but I'm going to fill in between, or maybe I should just do it more brighter and then just put the letters on top. I'll do both maybe. No, this is not right. So, this is going to be challenging. This is going to be a challenge. I can feel it now. It's going to be challenging. But that's how it is. That's life. For you. I can't just take black. I need to have some blue in the black and some red, so it doesn't just seem like black color, because that won't be nice. I should do like this and then just let it dry and then work on top of it again, because then it will be easier to make the detail, because it becomes so fluid after a while, that so runny is slippery, and it starts becoming more like aquarelle almost, and then it kind of starts getting difficult to get more paint into it. So yeah. Like this. And here. There. Mm-hmm. Should have had smaller pencils also, because these are kind of, well, it's not that big actually. I'll need to get that foot behind to go down in the proper way. No, I need more. Shit. Mm-hmm. Painstaking work. So, this one. Getting that shape right is going to be quite a challenge. Mm-hmm. This is just a thing I need to take step by step, you know, and get right over time. The shape of the leg and everything. So it's kind of strange because it goes in to the She kind of looks down on the foot. And this one is actually higher up, like this. Why do I do that? You see, the cliche is many times taking over. For the symbol, I kind of twisted it way too early because that is the cliche in my head telling me how it's supposed to be, but it's not like how it really is. So now I'm tricking myself. And then I have to do a conscious override and take a second look and see how it really is. And that is how you have to do it all the time, or you won't be able to see it straight. You will see a cliche or symbol instead of what's actually there. I don't claim this to be totally correct, just as I said. It's just too much, too many details and too much happening. It's fun to exaggerate some things, you know? Doesn't matter if you do. One has to be a little bit careful because you don't want too many things to compete in painting. Way up there. It's actually the dress that is longer down. I'll start to fall a little bit into place. So when it has actually dried a little bit more, I can actually start adding in some points of light in between and strengthen the small letters. Move it around a little bit. So it becomes a little bit more natural. I'm using blue black for this. I think that is a color I like to work with, that color. Blue black from Winsor Newton. Cadmium orange, that is Old Holland. Fill in some light here. There's some guy who criticized titanium white, and I have no idea why they have anything against titanium white, because titanium white is really very nice color to work with, or white to work with, I think, because it's kind of thick and it gives a nice texture. That is my favorite anyway. When it comes to white, I think the zinc is too runny. Zoo is such a task. Anyway, I can't film everything. Now that foot looks a little bit strange, but that is because I need all these other things to fall into place. Things around it. Shape of the leg here, where it goes in. That's I wondered actually if I was going to just drop the tattoos all together, but I feel it would be cheating in a way, so I decided to bring it on. And I hope I won't regret it too much, but time will tell. I just have to let it dry and do that next time, because it's just, yeah, that is the thing I need to do twice, at least. So, I'm just doing a last touch-up around different places. I did something more with the foot, and I might add just a little bit more for fun. Need a small pencil here. Let me see. There it is. Just gonna mark a couple of things here. It's so small and basically insignificant. Doesn't really matter that much. It's just it is a little bit strange that, but maybe I should just have it a little bit slimmer down there, like this. And I need to do the letters a little bit clearer, just a tiny bit. Too much. Like this. It's always difficult to see what is enough, what is actually enough. No. Too much. Clearly too much. That is what happens when I start touching. Sometimes when I start touching things that I actually didn't need to touch anymore, then it kind of starts this cascade of things, and in the end the hours just poof. So, yeah, and here, just like this. Yeah, I think that will do it. I want to do a little bit on the clouds. The clouds. Also, you know, you could go totally into detail with these things and just keep on banging on for basically forever. But just have to stop somewhere. There's also limited to how deep I can go into detail there. So okay, do a little bit on the clouds here to kind of soften them up a little bit. works perfectly to work on top of the paint. Absolutely no problem at all, actually. I'm very glad that is the fact. I was afraid that the textures would collide or something wouldn't stick, but as I can see, there's absolutely no problems that I can see at this point. So if you want to avoid a lot of at least some of the gas and stuff from the oil paints, you can actually use the water-based oil paint as actually at least as a tool to get from 0 to basically maybe 60-70% of finished, and then you go over to oil paint and finish it with that. But anyway, I won't do that because I'm going to use the colors. Actually, I would like to use them more for outside painting. If I'm going to do some, which I did this summer, I did some painting outside, or just sketches. Fuck, what am I doing now? Screwing around there. Too much white. There you have it. You add too much white and you can kill it. It becomes too... just the light dies. Too much reddish. All the colors in the sky there is so got close to each other. That's getting better. Yes, yeah. And I need a little bit more beige here. Yeah. What I will do with this is I might just exhibit it, and if it gets sold, it gets sold. If not, I will just bring it back to the studio and work more on it. Sometimes I do that, if I feel I can add more. Then again, it's nice to just move on to the next one and take with me the knowledge I got from doing it. My neighbor is starting to wake up, I guess. I want a couple of brush strokes here, at least one, with some reddish in it. It's kind of the sky that is reflected into the sea here, but it's really hard to find the right texture and the right hue. Then again, it's okay. Because I don't want to try to paint every wave. That would be hopeless. Well, there are people actually that do that. I've seen a couple of people actually doing it quite well. It's painstaking work. I actually think it was nice as it was. It's kind of a little bit chaotic, but not too chaotic. Also, the problem is when the oil paint dry, it's actually not. I have to do something with the light in here because it kind of becomes so much shine in it that it's hard to see what's actually going on. So that too is a problem I'm struggling with. Maybe I should start painting against it on the wall there, because then I get all the light from the side, not from the front. And it will be easier for me to actually see the depth the painting. Then I also like to have permanent still lifes, so much to move around all the time. But anyway, let's see what I do. So I call it a day. Maybe add a little bit more light in this. Up here, maybe a couple of highlights. It's kind of yellow. I think this is quite natural now. Seems like a nice cloud. Can you move this one up a little bit so I see that in landscape? And do something really dangerous now. What am I? Ah, that was actually so bad. Give him a little bit around, maybe. Yeah, that was better, I think. Tiniest face. Hmm. That's a dangerous thing to do. It's so easy to screw it up. Horribly easy. And it's also not necessary. Just want to give it a little bit more character. At least she's my daughter, so kind of recognize it a little bit now. It's difficult to see, but it kind of gives it a little bit more of the mood. I think anyway. Now I'm going into deep, deep, deep concentration. Deep. So I'm gonna stop there before I screw it up totally, and I need to use 10 more hours on it. That can be a drag of dimensions. Yes, it can. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't need to screw it up anymore. I think therefore I am. Is that what they say? Isn't that what they say? Now I have a huge version of this. So I'm gonna be able to go deep into detail on it later anyway. This was actually just an experiment I did in prison. So just gonna there's a difference between a green and a blue and the clouds and so many things here. It's going to be nice to work with it in a bigger format, because then it's easier to see different things. Like this. So there's some violets in the clouds here. Yes, there are some violet clouds. I have to have these things in, so it seems a little bit more natural. This. Of course, where there's a violet, there are yellow, greenish yellow. A little bit more blue into the yellow, so you get that nice green color. What I like is that I don't have the need to just pour in a lot of paint without any address. I've seen there are some, especially in the Old Holland school, which is just pouring in a lot of paint to make it look more painted, and it just seems so unnecessary to, does it really have to look that opaque or to be good, you know? Sometimes less is actually more. cadmium orange maybe. Here. There's a little bit more reddish down there. Orange. Red, orange. It's basically the complementary colors that are kind of competing the canvas. And as you can see, I'm mixing the colors on the canvas, basically. So it became a little bit better, actually, I think. And I want to soften up the clouds there, because they're too hard. Look more natural, like this. So it becomes a little bit more soft and opaque. Yes. So then it kind of falls more into the background also. There's kind of a strange thing here. Kind of a thing that comes down, dupes to like this. And creates this strange clouds behind there. So that's quite nice. There's also some reddish in that one. Here. I say reddish or violet-ish. Clouds can be so surreal. Can be really strange, weird. It took a little bit longer, as you can see. Oh, that's okay. No. It's good. It's good. See now? Voila, here you can just show it to you. This is how it came out, and I have worked a lot with the colors and nuances. It's quite rough, still quite rough, but it was a nice ride. So I think it's very red in here now. I don't understand why the camera is showing it this red. It's vivid, but that's the thing with this camera. That is what it does. And I just want to show you a little bit of the textures. As you know, I painted this. I started this sketch actually in prison, and I did it with water-based oil paint because I wasn't allowed to have turpentine and stuff like that in my room. So it was actually not a cell; it was a room with a view, actually. And I finished it with ordinary Old Holland oil paint on top of that, and I think it came out quite nice because I couldn't use any glazing or anything, so I just waited till I came out and finished it. So yeah, so this is it, and hope you give a thumbs up, leave a comment and share it with your friends, and yeah, check out my Patreon of course, and if you want to support my work or have me teach you how to paint, I will do it from there. I will also answer short comments in the comment section here on YouTube. So yeah, hope to see you. Here you can see some of the brushwork and textures. As you do that, I would like to mention that if you want to support my work, you can do that by going to Patreon and sign up for $1 or $15 or whatever you like. Pick one of the tiers. And you can also buy me a coffee. You find a link in description. Also give a thumbs up, leave a comment, and tell me what you want to see in my videos, and I will try my best to do it.